Hello, Leo. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West, Supportive Oracle Cards, Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Okay, what do we got for Leo? The cat has decided he would grace your reading, so he is over behind me in case he pounces out from somewhere. Stay on guard. I never know what he's going to do, literally. He's kind of got a Leo attitude, actually, now that I think of it. He's very strong, and he's very whimsical, and he does what he wants. Which is not bad. Very lovable too, so that's probably another part of the package, not for nothing. Starting into this situation. Ace of Wands. Coming right into a situation and getting something done. Now, the Ace of Wands may be how this is starting, but this is what it's leading into. There's a lot of arguments. There's hostilities and there's restraints. Could be financial restraints in the sense of like it could be literally finances. It might be where you have to fight for what you are worth. I'm getting that for a lot of you. But there's definitely some type of like being restricted energy here, and you're having to fight against it. And you're not putting up with it, so you're putting in a lot of energy to fight against this restriction, no matter what way it is. Now the environment has the thinking woman. Don't get caught up in the gender, but whoever or whatever you're dealing with, it's like a labyrinth. There's a lot you have to work through. You got to constantly figure out what's the deal. Why do they want this? Why do we have these restrictions? Are they really necessary? You don't believe that the restrictions are necessary, but you have to work through like, well, what's the hang up? Why do they feel we need to have these restrictions and get through that? And you do kind of keep going. You keep going. This seems to be a long haul fight. You have patience on your side after. You have to keep going at it. Keep going at it. Sometimes one of the reasons that Leo keeps going forward or keeps succeeding is that you seem to be persistent, yet you don't let it hold you down. So it's interesting that I see patience on your side because it's not that you have to be like patient, like wait to the side. It's kind of like your patience comes through like, I work on this for a while. It's giving me a lot of resistance. All right, so I'm going to do this for a minute. I'm going to do this for a minute. All right, I'm coming back and I'm fighting this fight again. All right, I'm going to do this. Like you switch gears quick enough to like put the energy in to move it forward, move it forward, move it forward. And you inch it forward and you inch it forward and you keep making some distance on it. Maybe not as much as you want each time, but enough to say that you actually have been moving forward with it. But then you're like, all right, I'm getting over this. So you go and you do something else, and then you do something else, and all right, let me back at this again, let me back at this again. You keep fighting this. Whatever this is, you're kind of like, no, I can't let this just stay like this. I'm going to have to change it. And if I have to keep coming back to it every now and then I will. It's not like you want to be patient. It's just kind of like your version of patience is what I'm getting. I'll distract myself with some other things and keep coming back to this because I'm not going to allow this. This is not going to stay this way. So it keeps working. It keeps going forward. I want to go into these two next. Okay, you got the Hierophant with the Two of Coins. You keep coming back around to this situation. You keep coming back because you're like, this is not acceptable. I have to keep coming back to this. But there will be a point where you're like, listen, all right, enough is enough. What's the problem? What do we need to do? I'm getting with the Hierophant. There's a very tough conversation. This is the second time today that's come across that way. With like it's a tough conversation. There's going to be people who don't like this. There's going to be people wondering if it's even worth it. I'm trying to understand what else is going here. Because it's like there's negotiations, but a choice has to be made. You're kind of like, listen, all right, this isn't working. I'm not going to just keep doing this over and over again. I've done it thinking it would finally break and just go the right way, but it seems like you still are holding up against me, and this needs to change. So what do we need to do? And it might be a very difficult conversation. There's other people who are involved here. There's the Three of Cups. I want to say the Three of Pentacles, but it's not out. But I'm feeling that energy. And the Chariot. Because there's going to be some effort to make this work through. It's really going to have to come through, and there's going to have to be some effort here to make it work out correctly. But I'm getting like the environment is coming up to meet you. No, that seems so strange to say, but it seems like there's a few people involved here with community especially. Other people, I don't feel like they're agreeing with you in the sense of like what you want to do. I feel like they're agreeing with you on the sense of where you want to see it go, or not, like where you want to see it end up. Like you want things to be better. They're agreeing with that. We want it to be better too. And you're like, and this is how I want to make it better. And they're like, well, I don't know if I agree with that. That's the situation I'm seeing. Make it better? Yeah, we're for that. Make it better the way you want to do it? I don't know about that. That seems to be what you're coming up against here. And the Chariot is telling me there's a need to make a decision, though. Okay. There's a need to make a decision, and it's kind of like we can fight this out for another 2 years. 2 years? We can keep fighting this out. Let's just leave it at that. Like 2 years, for the love of Pete. We can keep fighting this out, or we can work with the Leo because you have energy to see it through. They don't really want to do it your way, is what I'm getting. But they believe that if you're the one leading the way, it will happen. The change will happen. We will get to that better place. It will be better on this other side. So even though they don't want to do it the way you want to do it, they do believe that if you lead the way, it will happen and it will be better. That's why you win. I think that's why you win. That's what I'm feeling. Because you got victory here with the Angel of Love. People back down, not because they agree with how you want to do it. It's literally not that. It's because they believe you can make it happen. Because you can make it happen. So keep that in the back of your mind. I feel like you just want to protect yourself with that information. Because you might have some more people giving you adversity down the road, and people like digging their heels in and creating more obstacles. If you know this going into it, hopefully you can plan for that. Because that's literally why. It's because they just feel like you can make it happen. The thing is, they might be some of the obstacles you got to fight through. I'm already getting annoyed with it. It's kind of like they're making it worse. They're making it harder to get to that better day. Whatever. I'm like already, like I'm annoyed by it. I'm like literally annoyed by it. It's weird. It's a strong energy. It's kind of like, you want me to make it better, but you're going to stand in my way? Like, what? Like, you want me to help you, but you're going to work against me while I help you. It's kind of like you want me to make dinner, but you're going to keep unplugging the stove. Like, what? What? You want me to make you dinner, but you're going to keep unplugging the stove. Why are you doing that to me? Like, why? Like, who is that helping? That's what this feels like, that this energy is like to you. That's what they're doing. We want you to make dinner, but we're going to keep unplugging the stove. We're going to turn off the power, and then we're going to make it hard for you to see. We're going to make it really loud so you can't concentrate. Seriously. You got the Three of Swords with the Temperance. When I'm holding these cards, I'm getting that information. Like, it's kind of like they're working against you even though they want you to work for them at the same time. Help us make dinner while we get in your way and cause all this calamity. Crazy. I just can't with that. I'm gonna move on from that because I find it very obnoxious. The Two of Swords comes in with the Queen of Cups in the environment. I feel like we're still dealing with this energy that I want to move on from. They seem to be like very like, I don't know if I really want that to happen that way. I don't know if that's really the right way to do it. The Leo wants to make a pot roast. I'd rather have, I'd rather have tacos. I don't know about this. And they're just kind of like hemming and hawing and getting in your way and kind of like, well, can you put hot sauce on the pot roast? Can you do that? Can you mix that in? Can you bake it with the hot sauce? Like, would you really do that? I don't think I would. Quite frankly, I don't think I would. But I'm just saying, like, they're just counterproductive. And it's almost kind of like, just get out of my way so I can do it. If you don't want to help, I understand, but at least get out of my way so I can do what I need to do. And they're like, oh, I'll cut up some vegetables. And then they're kind of like, peppers. Hot peppers on the pot roast? And you're like, not usually. Not usually. It's just constant. It's constant. It's constant. I don't know. It's how it feels. It's kind of funny, but it's not. If you have a sense of humor about it, I think you'll be fine. I don't know if you can, but because it seems like it's aggravating more than anything else. This finally goes to the Six of Swords with the Ten of Swords. They finally stop. They finally stop with that attitude. The Ten of Swords is them giving up and like realizing whatever it is they want to have control over, it's not going to happen. And the Six of Swords is just kind of letting it go. They're very devastated that they couldn't make it work out the way they wanted it to. Like the way they wanted it to, like it's the path. It's not the outcome, it's the way to make it happen. But I feel like they also kind of like move on from it. Their energy seems to pull back a bit. And this makes you uncomfortable. You're not because all of a sudden they stop being a pain in the butt, which is jarring. I feel like it's jarring, kind of like they were constantly in my way, constantly in my way, constantly in my way, and now they're not here. They're just not here. Indecision with the solar plexus chakra. Like, you're wondering, like, did everybody just leave? Like, am I working for something that nobody's working for now? Like, what happened? Is this good? Is this good? You're not understanding why the energy just got... It's like all the obstacles all of a sudden got out of your way. And it's kind of like... It's jarring. You just don't know what to make of it. You was fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, and all of a sudden it's easy. It's like, here you go, take what you want. Okay. It's just jarring. I can't get over that part. Like, this whole part, this energy is just... I feel like it's just emotionally unsettling the whole time. The deceit with the path, the temple path, I don't think you're being deceived. I think that you're very uncomfortable, though, when you're wondering if you are. Because it's kind of hidden behind the temple. Kind of like... I feel like you might be a little paranoid, but it makes sense. Because it was constantly people working against you, working against you, working against you, and then they just stopped. Are they still working against me? I just can't see it. Did they go somewhere else? Like, why? I feel like you're uncomfortable. Kind of like, I don't understand what's really going on here. But the thing is, the situation is starting to yield benefit. And that's like what you need to see here. That'll help you get like more comfortable with what's happening. When the situation starts to yield benefit, these people are centering on that. Instead of centering on getting in your way, it's kind of like dinner's almost done. So now they're smelling it, and they're like, okay, I'm ready for the pot roast. I mean, it's going to be pot roast anyway. And they seem to realize we're too far along for them to make tacos out of this without it making it a real mess. Like, you don't want a pot roast taco medley thing going on there. I don't think that would work out personally, but who knows. So they seem to be giving in because they're seeing the benefit. They're seeing, like, well, it's too late now to change it, so they stop getting in your way. That's why that's happening. The energy is just weird, though. It's uncomfortable. Now... you got these two cards leading into the end. Just before the end, you have Storm Warning and the Broken Heart. There's going to be something here where you have to let people know exactly what you think about what's been going on. When I'm getting Storm Warning, usually the Storm Warning is talking about an approaching storm, but you notice it's actually on that card. I feel like you're going to have a moment where you're just going to have to vent out and let these people know about what they did and how you felt about that. And how you're really disappointed in them one way or another. That this could have been a much better outcome. It's still, the thing is, it's a good outcome, but like you're annoyed. And I feel like you have to vent out about that. Once you have done that, once you've told people about, you know, you got in my way, you finally got out of my way, and I was able to finally make this right, I do think that this is actually going to have a really good outcome still. I don't think it's damaged, but I feel like you're not happy with these people for a minute. They seem to kind of recoil a little bit. I'm getting that with the Page of Pentacles. Page of Wands. Page of Wands fits better. That makes more sense to me. Because I feel like they're listening and they're backing off and they're doing whatever you want them to do. They're not getting in your way anymore. They've stopped the shenanigans, whatever that was. The Seven of Swords, is it? Yep. Once you... see, that's the thing. With Leo, you get upset and there's a lot of energy, but then you're like, now that I've said what I need to say, I'm moving on. It's been said, I'm moving on. they seem to be just walking on from it too. Now that the Leo has told us, and the Leo was right, because I feel like most of them are being like, yeah, well, yeah. Unplugging the stove, I don't see how that was helping anything either. They're correct. That was not my best move. They just seem to accept it and move on too. You don't want to dwell on it, they don't want to dwell on it. Seems to move forward fairly easily. The ending is very interesting to me, because it seems like that one moment pops in where you're like, I have to set y'all straight about this ridiculousness and the shenanigans you put me through. I gotta vent out about how I feel about that. They just kind of listen and go along with it. You move on from it, they move on from it. Three of Cups comes in. This is getting along with people, good community effort again. Ace of Swords. Communication is better this time. It's almost like whatever you had to do to win over these people, they seem to realize, like, you're going to do more with them, and if they work with you, everybody can have a better outcome. Ace of Cups comes in. You have two aces coming in. Whoever these people are, it's almost like you're bonding with them at a deeper level than you had been before. So if this is a new group of people, this is where the bond is created. If this is a group of people you've been around before, it seems like this moment needed to happen so that they understood what you're really made of and why they really need to not get in your way again like that. I think there's going to be more you're doing with these people. It does seem like it goes a lot better further down the line. Like, the more you do with these people, the easier it gets. I don't think it's ever going to be this hard again. Are we sure? It's a general read, but I'm getting it's not going to be ever this hard again. And I feel like you're getting a lot of respect after this. Because you do follow through on what you said you were going to do, and you do hold people accountable for what they should not have done. But once you've done that, and especially after you've held people accountable, all right, I've told you what I don't like, and now I'm over it. And you move on from it. And people seem to really respond to that. They don't want to make you mad again, but they don't feel like they're living under, like, pressure, like that you're always angry with them. They don't feel like that either. They don't want to make you angry again, but they don't feel like you're constantly angry at them, if that makes sense. They feel like, okay, you vented, you told me what I was wrong with, we rectified it, and now we can move on. I don't want to make the Leo upset again, but I don't feel like they're holding a grudge. They don't feel like you're holding a grudge. That's the big thing. I think that's the big thing. Because it works out well. It works out very well for you and for them. It's a weird moment. It's a necessary moment. And it goes better. Like, it's almost like this is the learning curve. They understand what you're really about now. They know what you're made of now. It goes much better. Alright. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.